If you can't see the positive in the challenging situation that you're going through right now, it doesn't mean that the benefit isn't there. It just means that you're not able to access it. That's why in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 steps to turn any adversity into an advantage. How do you access the hidden advantage in the adversity that you're going through right now? It's pretty simple. You're going to start asking better questions, because your brain is like Google. The answer you receive is determined by the questions you ask. So if you ask yourself, why me? Why is this always happening to me? It's no wonder that your brain finds an answer and tells you it's because you're a victim. It's because you don't have control over your situation. And as a result, you feel hopeless, you feel helpless. But if instead you ask your brain, what's the benefit of going through this? What can I learn from it? What is the lesson I need to learn? Why is it good that this challenge, this problem, this adversity happened to me? And when you're asking yourself these questions, you're going to get more high quality answers that put you in a state of feeling in control over some part of your adversity, of feeling that you have the power to change it, that you have the power to go through it. I'm going to share with you a few actual examples from my life where I go through this process so that you can follow along and it's easier for you to implement this strategy yourself. Now let's get to the next part. The next question we're going to ask is, how can I apply the benefit, the lesson I've learned to accelerate my own progress, my own personal growth? How can I use that benefit that this adversity gives me to my advantage? And you will be surprised when you ask these questions on how well your brain provides an answer that you might not expect. However, what if you ask those questions and don't receive an answer immediately, and you can't see the benefit of the adversity right away? That's where the 3rd step comes into play, which is simply about trusting and accepting that even though on the surface it doesn't look like the adversity, the challenge you're going through has any benefit, has any positive lesson for you. However, you trust and you accept that at the center there is the hidden advantage, and at some point it will become clear to you. And there have probably been several moments where you have gone through a challenge in the past, faced an adversity, overcome a struggle, and when you reflect back on that, you would regard them as one of the best things that ever happened to me because of the lessons you learned, because of how it transformed you into the person that you are right now, and how it made you stronger. And it certainly did that for me, where I was a few years ago, lying in bed with an extreme pain in my stomach where I couldn't eat anything for around 24 days. And that painful experience eventually led me to transitioning to a plant-based way of eating, to only eating plants and to no longer eat any animal products. And I found that to be really beneficial to building a solid foundation for my health, to improve the energy levels I have. So that adversity, having this extreme stomach pain for nearly 24 hours, turned into a really beneficial outcome for me. Even though at the time when I was going through it, that benefit wasn't obvious. Now let's go through a few examples to really make this process more clearer for you. First, let's take migraines as example, migraine headaches, which I sometimes get. Now, while I don't enjoy getting migraine headaches because I feel really sick and the pain in my head is really strong and I feel really tired, and it takes me 2 to 3 days to recover fully from that migraine hangover, even though that experience is really challenging and it's really an adversity, I know that by asking those questions I can turn it into an advantage. So what's the benefit of having this migraine attack? What's the lesson I need to learn? It can be, for example, now that I have this intense pain in my head and I feel sick, I have an excuse to stop working so hard, to take time for myself out of the busy schedule to relax and recharge. How can I apply this extra time I have to accelerate my progress? Well, I can use it to reflect on my daily routine and maybe make a few tweaks and get more in touch with the body signals, because I've probably ignored a few early warning signs that led towards the migraine attack. And it helps me become more aware of my body signals and really listen to them, which I can then use in the future to reduce the frequency of migraines and also reduce the intensity so I bounce back from them faster, which is exactly what I was able to do. Another example that also from my life that I could consider an adversity or a challenge is that the videos that I publish on YouTube right now are not really getting a lot of views. Now, it's not really a big problem, but a small adversity that we can still use to apply this process. So what's the benefit of not many people watching my videos at the moment? Well, it's that it's great that not many people are watching it, because then I can really focus on practicing my delivery and my skill set on creating those videos, so that then when I'm getting the thousands of views, that I have great videos. In a way, it's like practicing when nobody's watching. Now, the other lesson it teaches me is to not being so attached to the outcome of creating those views, but instead focus on being consistent with creating and publishing videos to really make the process more effective, which already leads to the second part of this. How can I apply this benefit? How can I apply the lesson I've learned from this towards accelerating my growth? Another way I can use that lesson I've learned is that it gives me the space to experiment with creating videos on different topics, so I find the sweet spot, the one thing I enjoy creating videos around the most. Because right now I don't have many people expecting certain types of content from me, which means I have more freedom to explore. So that was the second example of how we turn an adversity into an advantage. Now, after going through these examples, you're now getting a sense on how this process works and how powerful it really is. Now, at first, it's helpful to do this process manually, to write those questions and answers down for each challenge you're facing right now. And over time, the more you practice that, the more automatic this process becomes, which means that the next time you face a challenge, your brain comes automatically up with the benefit that it has, that the lesson that you need to learn from it, and how you can use that adversity and the lesson you learn to accelerate your progress. And even if your brain doesn't come up with the benefit right away, it will still create a positive experience for you, because you know and you can trust that there is a lesson for you, a positive benefit for you, an advantage that this adversity has, that you may not be aware of it right now, but you know it's there. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how to program your mind to be more positive, I also suggest you check out these two videos on this side here, which give you more detailed practices. And if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel to be notified whenever I release a new one. Now, I'd love to know from you, what's an adversity you are going through right now, and how can you turn it into an advantage? Comment below this video, I'd love to know.